If you want to finish every hike that you start, whether it's on the East Coast, the West Coast, or some long distance backpacking trail you've dreamt up, understand this. Your body rarely gives out first. It's your mind that's going to decide when you quit. So let's get that strong too. Today, I'm going to show you the same strategies that I coach all of my clients to so that they train their mind to keep moving when everything inside you wants to stop. You got to know these things because it's your mind that's going to give up before your legs. If you're new here, my name is James Appleton. I'm a coach and a hiking guide, and I help hikers all around the world get strong and fit so that they have the adventures that they actually want to have. Before we dive in, click that subscribe button. You see, there's a common misconception. Most people think the answer is more cardio or more gym time, or maybe even they think they need a better training plan. And yes, all those things help. You got to get stronger. You got to get fitter. But I have coached plenty of hikers who were physically capable, and yet they still turned back early and not for reasons they're proud of. Because the truth is, when you're on mile 15 and your backpack feels like there's a boulder in it, you still got elevation to go. You still got miles to go before your day is done, and your legs are just begging you to stop because they won't stop burning. It's not your quads that are going to decide when you're finished. It's your mental game. Your brain is going to quit first. That's why so many hikers, despite having good fitness, can still fail to finish. Whereas people who may be slightly more out of shape, but they know this game, they know what they're in for, they're able to finish these bigger hikes. The difference? Their mindset. They know what they're in store for. They know how to attack the mountains. So let's dive into some simple mindset tools you can implement right now so that you show up at your next hike as strong as possible and mentally ready for the game. The first mindset tool is actually knowing your why. When the going gets tough, your why is your fuel. Plain and simple. Maybe you committed to yourself to finish the Adirondack 46 high peaks and you want to see that adventure through no matter what. Maybe it's showing your kids what follow through looks like in general. Maybe it's being strong enough to even go hiking with your kids. Maybe there's some confidence that you're trying to reclaim after a rough season. You know, the outdoors, it really allows us to do that. Whatever your individual unique why is, you got to know what it is and you have to articulate it to yourself. Because if you just hike for fun, it's going to be very easy to quit when it stops being fun. It's not always fun and games out there. It's muddy, it's wet, there's bugs, thunder, lightning, woods. It gets tough out there. But when you're connected to something bigger, to a deeper purpose, suddenly stopping doesn't really make sense anymore because it's not in alignment with what you're working towards. And this same principle applies off trail too. You know, most of our growth happens in regular life, not really out on the trail, happens at work, at home, how we take care of ourselves. And when your habits off the mountain line up with the person you want to be on the mountain, you build that quiet strength, that quiet confidence in yourself to always show up. And when it gets hard, you anchor to that why, and that's what's going to keep you moving forward. Another strategy, shrink the mountain. One of the biggest mistakes people make, whether they're climbing a mountain, whether they're doing a long distance backpacking trip, or whether they're just chasing any goal, is only staring at how far the finish line is. That just creates overwhelm. We need to shrink that down. Shrink the mountain. Zoom in. Okay, what's the next tree I got to get to? What's the next trail junction I got to get to? What's the next bend? Can I get to that next rock over there? Sometimes it's just one more step. It's this one foot in front of the other mentality that is the only way to get to your goal. It's the only way to get to the summit. It's the only way to get to your next destination. It applies to everything. You can't jump your way to the top of the mountain. One foot in front of the other is what's going to get you there. So you got to shrink that mountain down. And it's the same with your training, with business, with life, whatever you're going after. You might know the summit that you're going towards, and you have to know the summit you're going towards. Maybe it's a stronger body, better habits, more confidence, but you still got to follow the map that's going to take you there. You go from this trail to that trail to this next trail, which is going to meet you at this river. When you're going to go to this trail over here, you got to know the map. And on that map, you're going to be stacking steps one after another, and you're ultimately going to get there because one foot in front of the other will take you to the summit. The next tool, reframe discomfort. And I'm going to tell you something, it is going to get uncomfortable out there. Most of the time, hikers feel pain and they just think something's wrong, when in reality, that's just part of the process. Growth doesn't always feel good. You know, I tell my clients all the time, discomfort is just feedback. It's not necessarily failure. You see, every rep that burns, every cold morning that you still show up to the gym at 5 o'clock in the morning, that's just evidence that you're building resilience. You're building the ability to do something that most won't do, and you keep showing up. You're taking something uncomfortable, reframing it as something that's going to produce growth, and it allows you to keep going. And once you start to view these challenges as progress, suddenly it stops being something you avoid and it becomes something you actually start to chase. That shift in thinking and seeing struggle as like training for life, it changes the way you show up, both out on the trail and in anything else you're doing in your life. So reframe discomfort, because growth is on the other side of that discomfort. Here's why these tools work. You see, your brain is like a governor on an engine. It cuts you off long before your true limit. Purpose, however, overrides that. Focus breaks your tasks down that you're going for. Reframing discomfort resets what hard actually feels like. And the first sign that it's working is subtle. You realize that the wall that you usually hit, it shows up a little bit later. And then eventually, not at all. You can go further. That elevation gain wasn't as hard as it used to be. You can go an extra mile, an extra half a mile, an extra 10 steps. Whatever it is, you finish the day stronger than you started ultimately. And those moments, they compound, they stack on each other. And before long, you're not just stronger on the trail, you're actually different. You're stronger off the trail. You're more disciplined. You're more grounded. You're more in control of your life. You do the things you said you're going to do. It's a very big difference. Oh, you thought hiking mountains was just about mountains? No. It's way deeper than that. So here's my challenge for you. On your next hike, when you finally hit that wall, don't ask yourself if you can do it. Instead, ask, what would the stronger version of me do right now? And then take those next steps, because I guarantee that version of you would take the next step and the next step and the next step. And before you know it, you're even further up the trail than you expected to be. That, my friends, is how you transform from someone who quits once it gets uncomfortable, and you turn into someone who keeps the promises to yourself, who keeps pushing forward even when things get hard. And the goals that you set for yourself, they just become the byproduct of the process of you continuing to push yourself forward. At the end of the day, the hiking trail really is just a classroom for personal growth and for mental resilience. And when you're stronger and more physically fit for the adventure, you can learn those lessons a lot better. Now, if this message in this video resonates with you and you're not just looking to hike stronger, but you also want to just be stronger in life, that's exactly what my coaching is all about. Because the truth is, I don't want you to just be strong on the trail. I want that to be a byproduct of the work that you do. I want you to be strong inside the four walls of your home as well, in your relationships, in your career, your mindset, your discipline. You see, the outdoors has a way of showing us who we really are. It has a way of transforming us into a stronger, better version of ourselves. And if we don't bring that version of ourselves back into our life daily, we're missing the bigger picture. And that's why my Seek to Do More coaching program takes a holistic approach to hiking fitness. We're going to build your strength and fitness for the mountains 100%, but we're also going to build the discipline, the integrity, and the mental toughness that you need, not just for the backcountry, but so that you show up in every area of your life as your best self. So if you're ready to do this differently, to build strength for the trail and for your life, click that link below and book a call with me. We'll figure out together which coaching program would be right for you to help you get to your goals so that you become the strongest version of yourself out on the trail and in your life. And I'll see you on the call. And don't forget to click that subscribe button so you don't miss any more videos, and I'll see you in the next video.